So in today's video, we're going to be installing something really cool on the G35, something I've been looking at for quite a while, and I've always wondered how good of a difference it is to the car. And that mod is the differential brace for the G35s and 350Zs. So I ended up going with the GKTech differential brace. There's a lot of other diff braces you can get as well. I ended up going with GKTech. I've never really used their products other than like a tie rod spacer. So I'm really excited to see how their kit is and how nice everything looks. So as you guys may know, I am going to the track, so there are a lot of mods that I've been doing on the G35 to basically prep it up for the track, so that way I don't have any complications and basically make sure it's good to go. I already did the diff bushings, I've already done the motor mounts, already done the poly trans mount, so basically the whole drivetrain is polyurethane. So when I started reading up on the differentials on these cars, and when you put a lot of stress on it, like we are going to be putting a lot of stress on this car, sometimes the stud itself that is connected onto the bushing ends up shearing off, and because of all the stress you're putting onto it, it just completely breaks off. So one of the reasons that I'm installing the diff brace is because I'm trying to prevent that and have peace of mind that that's not going to happen to me. Even though I already have polyurethane differential bushings, this is still going to help out a lot, so I'm excited to try this out. So here is the GKTech diff brace, and it's basically going to connect to two of your bolts on your differential cover, and then one of them is going to be connected onto the subframe. Really simple, shouldn't take too long. It's honestly just like a plug and play, so it's really easy to do. So if you guys are looking to do it, it's not intimidating at all. It's really easy to do. Also comes with the hardware, and then obviously it comes with the best thing that any single thing you can buy can come with, and it's a sticker. So let's go ahead and start jacking up the car so we can install this brace. Quick little side note, thank you so much for everybody who joined the giveaway. That was really cool. I want to do a bunch more for you guys. So definitely make sure you follow me on Instagram, because that's where I'm going to be holding all of the giveaways in the future as well. In case you end up missing one of the uploads, you can still find out through my Instagram. So just want to let you guys know. I'm not 100% sure on what I should give away next. So if you guys have any suggestions at all, leave them in the comments below. It'll help out everybody. So thank you so much for everybody who joined. So let's go ahead and get back into the video. Alright, so now with the car jacked up, all we're really going to need access to is these two bolts, and then essentially just this little spot right here. That's going to be all we're going to need in order to install the diff brace. So we're going to end up taking these two off right now, and then after that we'll be able to mock up the diff brace and then do everything else. Alright guys, so after you take off the two bolts, then you'll be able to go ahead and put the diff brace to mock it up. I do have a Nismo cover on my differential, so if you don't have the Nismo cover, it still will work. But just so you know, the Nismo cover also works with the GKTech diff brace, which is something I was worried about, but they do have it where it works with it. I just took out these two bolts, and it smells like diff fluid. If you guys have ever smelled diff fluid, it smells absolutely disgusting. Just be prepared, it is gonna smell a little funky, just letting you guys know. Ugh. Doesn't look like it is gonna fit.
Official OSHA approved safety glasses here.
Alright guys, so it's been a minute and we've actually done a lot to this diff brace to make it fit. So I ended up mounting it, and this side was hitting and not allowing this side to fit. So what we had to do is basically grind this down so that this side can fit, and then from there we realized that we grinded a little bit too much on this side, so we ended up grinding a little bit on this side, and now it's perfectly even so that we can go ahead and mount it up. I'm not entirely sure on why this is. I do have the polyurethane diff bushings. I don't know if that's a factor. I also do have the 370Z diff, but it is basically the exact same as the G35 diff, so I don't think that's a factor either. But who knows, maybe a combination of those two, a little bit from the diff bushings and a little bit from the differential, could have been just enough to make it where it doesn't fit properly. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put this onto the car and we can go ahead and install it. Alright, so first things first, I'm gonna end up putting this little insert inside of the subframe so it just slides in like so, and then you're good to go on that. Afterwards, you're gonna have this bolt right here, and it just goes right through the insert, and that is the top portion of the brace. So this is going to be mounting onto that. So these two holes will be for these two right here. So I just found putting the top bolt first allows you to be able to leave it hanging, and then from there you can go ahead and start threading it on. So I'm gonna thread the bottom one first, since that's the easiest one for me right here. So to go ahead and tighten these bolts, it's going to be a 16mm, so I'm gonna do it by hand first just to get them started, and then I'll probably just use the impact just to get them in. Now I have these two tightened up, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the nut on the top, and then we'll be able to go ahead and tighten it all up. It's honestly all pretty straightforward. I just wish I didn't have to modify it to make it fit, but I understand I have a lot of aftermarket parts on this, but modifying it made it fit. So if you have a 370Z diff on your G35 or 350Z, now you know that this will fit, so you'll just have to do a couple modifications to it. So like I was saying, you're gonna have this bolt going from the top, and that's basically gonna go ahead and tighten the top portion of it. You're gonna have this washer right here, and then you're gonna have a nut on the other side. So you're gonna go ahead and tighten everything up, and then you should be good to go. Alright guys, so everything is torqued down on diff brace. The torque specs for these two is 32 foot-pounds, and I just ended up doing 32 on this one as well. So other than that, everything is good on it, and it's a really simple install, assuming that everything fits correctly. So I don't know if I mentioned this, but the diff brace is going to help with keeping that wheel hop down, and also is going to help tightening the rear end a lot more. And the other thing, like I said, is to make sure that that stud doesn't break, because if it does break, it'd be a nightmare to have to go ahead and take everything apart just for that little stud. So that's definitely preventative maintenance, since I'm taking it to the track and I'm going to be beating on it. I just don't want anything to happen with that. I'm not going to point fingers at GKTech. I'm going to take the responsibility on that. It could have been anything that I've done to the car. Obviously the differential is in stock. I've done a bunch of stuff to the rear end, so I'm not going to blame GKTech for that. Honestly, I'm just glad that it's installed, and I don't waste money installing this and then going and, you know, cutting up the piece and making it custom. So I didn't want to have the piece and not install it, and I'm just glad that it's installed on the car now. With all that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and lower the car, then we're gonna be able to go ahead and take it on a test drive, see how it feels, see if I even recommend it if you already have, you know, polyurethane diff bushings, if that's even a difference at that point. Dusting off the cobwebs of not being in the videos.
One winner later. 2 hours later. So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting, and they had to hire a new one.
Oh wait, it's not lined up. Hold on.
Alright guys, so this is the portion where we're going to be testing out the differential brace. I want to see how it feels in daily driving, and also when you're stepping on it, we're definitely going to feel a difference. So I want to know what the big difference is. So far, the biggest difference I noticed right off the bat is the rear end feels so tight. It feels so nice to drive. As I'm driving and changing gears, it feels way smoother than before. Something that I didn't have even with the polyurethane bushing. So I do regret also buying polyurethane. I should have gone solid. I just think right off the bat that would have given the car, the rear end, a lot stiffer of a feel in the rear end. As for any more vibrations, I really don't notice anything else. I mean, everything's pretty stiff already, so any extra isn't really going to be a big deal, honestly. That feels really nice. The acceleration is actually really hard. Even though I have the polyurethane, like I said, it feels way harder than before on the acceleration. Everything feels nice and stiff, and you feel like there's literally no play in the back end, which, I mean, I didn't really have a complaint before, but now that I've noticed it, it's kind of hard to miss that. Honestly, for $100 bucks, this is an insane mod to get. You know, you don't have to worry about dropping the differential. You don't have to worry about doing all the other things that you have to do with the differential bushings. You literally just bolt it on, and it's all good to go. Obviously, like I said, I have way too many things in the rear end that are different, so that's why it wasn't bolting up, but it didn't take long to fabricate and make it fit, so it's all good to go. Acceleration feels a lot better than it did before, and I'm really shocked because I thought that the, you know, urethane bushings would be enough, but it obviously isn't. It's a really simple mod, it's inexpensive, and I think it helps a bunch with the car. I feel like it definitely helps with confidence in helping with understanding where the limits of your car are, especially if you're pushing the car hard. I think it's a lot more predictable than having mushy OEM rubber as your back end. There's not a lot of mods that I say are must-haves, but I feel like this one is one of those mods that is a must-have. Whether you get GKTech or you get Bell's Raceworks, they both do the same thing, and I really like how stiff the rear end gets with it. Alright guys, that is the install on the GKTech diff brace. Like I said, I'm not going to knock it for it because I did have to do custom fabrication. It is what it is with this, you know, once you go with custom things, it just, things that happened. The car feels great with it. I honestly think that I should have gone with solid bushings just because of how great the rear end feels. I feel like the corners feel so much more predictable on the rear end, and I know exactly when it's gonna slide out in comparison to just kind of feeling it out. I'm just trying to record. Those are the struggles I have with trying to find like a nice quiet place where I can record the car. There you guys have it. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, leave it a like, subscribe if you're new around here. We got plenty of G35 content. I've officially signed up to the track, so the track day is going to be November the 6th, and I am going to be going on Streets of Willow, so be prepared for that. That's going to be an exciting thing. I've never been on track with my G35, so it's a really sick thing to do. All that being said, guys, I hope you guys did enjoy it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.